Hello, my name is Johnathon McClellan, President of the Minnesota Justice Coalition. I want to thank everyone who came out tonight, and I want to give a special thanks to the students. The Minnesota Justice Coalition stands with the family of Naya and all other students who have had to endure racism and bullying or sexual exploitation in the institutions that are supposed to protect and foster a safe learning environment. It should have not taken this case to blow up on social media for the bells to be ringing. This event was designed to shed light on a problem that has impacted our students within our schools here in the state of Minnesota. The racism that happened to Naya is not isolated to Prior Lake High School. We are finding many of our schools have been infected within the state of Minnesota, and because of that, this problem requires a state response. This is not the time to blame, point fingers, or make political calculations. This is an all-hands-on-deck moment, and the time for action was yesterday, because an attack on all of us is an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. In this room is the power to fix this problem, and in this room is why it matters, our future. No matter your race, sexual orientation, disability, religion, or sex, you should have a right to be safe, to feel secure in school, period. Oftentimes, the youth get left out of the conversation or are not taken seriously because the adults think we know best. And some school boards think they know best and turn a blind eye to the reality many students of color face. The mental health of our children matters, and the role our schools play in the development of our children is underappreciated. Teachers often lack the time or resources to address these issues, as most teachers are overworked, underpaid, and lack the proper direction and training and support to address these challenges. In a report released this week and highlighted by CNN, 1 in 4 acts of bullying was motivated by race, according to the Government Accountability Office. In 2019, there was a Minnesota student survey. This is a survey conducted every 3 years, with our next one coming up in 2022. It focused on very specific data and that does not address the issues around racism, hate, sexual exploitation, or sexual harassment. We need to be inclusive of these questions going forward. I would imagine with the COVID-19 pandemic, these numbers have drastically increased because of social isolation and more time in front of devices. A statistic from the National Center of Education from 2017 that tracks high school graduation rates in all 50 states reported that Minnesota, the graduation for Black students is at 65%. That number puts Minnesota in dead last among 50 states. We have to wonder why. Our Black students have to not only fight racism and hate, but they have to fight just to get through school and graduate. This is not acceptable by any standards, and we demand better. With racism, sexual exploitation, and bullying, we have to wonder how our children are supposed to learn. How are they supposed to succeed when our current educational system is failing them? Where a hostile learning environment is not the exception, but the norm. And the price we pay is sometimes far too great. As a Minneapolis firefighter, I have seen the reality firsthand. One of my first calls, I cut down the body of a young Black teen who hung himself, and he wouldn't be the last. This is real, folks, so we have to get it right. We have to make it a priority in our policy, and we must shock the system. In 1960, a 6-year-old young Black girl by the name of Ruby Bridge was the first Black girl to integrate into school and challenge the racist climate of those times. So you see, this fight has already been fought and won. And today in 2021, we must beat back, knock down, and rip out by its root racism wherever it rears its head. The same students who are bullying and racist eventually get into positions of power. This racism and bullying has the potential to bleed into other systems of government, whether it be law enforcement, finance, the courts, jury pools, higher education, and other careers, and the list goes on. Our institutions need to call out this problem and not only try to hide it, or not try to hide behind it because it's uncomfortable or because you may not understand it. In order to fix the problem, we must understand there's a problem to begin with. And a failure to do that is a failure to our children, who are here standing for justice, fighting to be heard. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "We may have all come on different ships, but we're all in the same boat now." Minnesota Justice Coalition has drafted and put forward a package of legislation being carried by Representative Jess Hansen that includes harassment that leads to the attempt or act of suicide, making it a crime to dox the address of a child, and added language to the anti-bullying statute that targets racially malicious and sadistic conduct involving racism and sexual exploitation. Additional legislation is being proposed as part of the package of legislation to knock back this old enemy. We need investment in training for schools to develop processes around best practices in dealing with racism, hate, sexual exploitation, and sexual harassment. As this unfolds and we dig deeper into this problem, I expect more legislative work will need to be done. We must be bold, and we need a commitment from our elected leaders to support these initiatives and to be creative. And no, we're not asking for a blank check. We are asking for reform that is thoughtful, proven, student-informed, and will work. And when it comes to our children, no price is too much, no commitment is too long. We must fight for our future. We have a duty to listen, we have a duty to act, we have a duty to protect our students. And if not now, when? And if not us, who? All eyes are on us. I'm in this fight because I give a damn. The question is, do you?